Welcome back to EOT Tutorials. On the screen you can see we are going to be going through Scramblers 101, hence the title of the video. Now, before using Warp Scramblers and PvP, you need to be able to overheat the module. And to do that, you need the thermodynamics skill. Okay, and this enables you to overheat and increase ranges of scramblers. It increases ranges of weather fires, it increases rate of fire, it increases DPS. It has a very wide variety of usages. When using said skill of overheating, a red ring will begin to appear around the module when the module is overheated. Now what you want to do is stop it at around 3/4 overheated. So instead of having to dock up in a station, you can use what's called nanite repair paste, and all you do is right click on the module and click repair. And as long as you have nanite repair paste in your cargo hold, you can repair it. However, at base level, the amount of nanite repair paste is very high. To utilize effective repair of nanite repair paste, you need nanite operation and nanite interfacing. Okay, this will make your life a lot easier. Warp scramblers come in very different variations and sizes. Okay, so the first four on the list are what is called tier 1 and meta. Okay, so the Warp Scrambler one is the very base level, 7.5 kilometers range, overheated 9 kilometers. The faint Epsilon scoped Warp Scrambler has an 8.2 kilometer range with a 9.9 kilometer overheated ability. Initiated compact Warp Scrambler 7.5, overheated 9, and the J5B enduring Warp Scrambler 7.5 with an overheated range of 9 kilometers. Now the best one to use out of all of those is the initiated compact Warp Scrambler, because of its fitting. It takes 4% less CPU than every other tier 1 available, so it makes it the sort of go-to one, and they are actually fairly cheap as well. The next on the list is the Tech 2 variant, which is Warp Scrambler 2. Has a 9 kilometer base range with an overheated range of 11 kilometers. Now, the storyline one, the delineative Warp Scrambler, has a 9 kilometer range and overheated is only 11 kilometers. Whilst the delineative is always sort of fun to use storyline, it's very expensive, and the Tech 2 variant does pretty much the exact same thing. So generally I wouldn't bother with the storyline one. The faction scrams, i.e. things that, you know, are faction. So the Caldari one is 10 with an overheat of 12. The Dark Blood one is 11 with an overheated 14. The Domination one is an 11 with an overheated 14. The Dreadgris's Warp Scrambler is a 10 with an overheat of 12. Federation Navy Warp Scrambler, 11 kilometers, overheated 13. Canid Navy Warp Scrambler, 10 kilometers, overheated 12. Republic Fleet Warp Scrambler, 11 kilometers to 14, overheated. Shadow Serpentis Warp Scrambler is 11 base with 13 kilometers overheated. And the True Sanction Warp Scrambler is 11 kilometers with an overheated bonus of 14 kilometers. Now, each and every one of these has different CPU usage mostly, and they generally can change from 22 to 26, as you can see, 22, 30, 26, etc. So again, make sure you check CPU usage. The next one are what is called officer module scrubs, and these things are heavy Warp Scramblers. And the Gotan has a 14 kilometer base with 17 kilometers overheated. The Hakim's modified has a 14 kilometer base with a 16 kilometer overheated. Tobias 15 to 18 kilometers, and the Mizuros has a 13 kilometer to 15 kilometers overheated. Now, what is the thing to note about a lot of these is the price range will go up. So the delineative one is so rare that it's worth billions. Basically, it's essentially is a collector's item. The faction scrams will run you anywhere from sort of 50 to 300 million ISK, and the officer scrams are in the billions. The delineative Warp Scrambler is only available from Cosmos missions in a Mimitar faction, and the faction scrams, those are found in two different forms. One is NPC drops, i.e. faction NPCs in belts, anomalies, and DED sites, and also from faction and loyalty point stores in low, high, and null-sec locations, i.e. agent locations. So such as the Republic Fleet, the Canid, the Federation, and the Caldari Navy. You can get those from high sec stations for loyalty points exchange whilst doing missions and so on. The officer scrams, they are essentially found in a variety of forms, from officer spawn, NPC rats, nullsec belts, to high-end missions. As far as I'm aware, I know that they are, I think they're also found in 10 of 10, between 8 of 10 and 10 of 10 DED sites in null security space as well. But again, those are very high value sites in themselves. But the officer scrams, as you can see, have a 2,800 MW power grid usage. They are essentially fitted to battleships and above, or anything that has a bonus to power grid usage with these things. They are not frigate, smaller ship kind of modules. So that is Warp Scramblers 101. Everything that you need to know, where to get them, how to get them, etc. So the meta ones are all obviously on the market and do drop from random NPC rats and missions. A lot of those tier ones, you can get loads of those just from running missions. Warp Scrambler 2 also needs to be made because it's Tech 2, and so on. So hope this was helpful. If you got to the end of the video and you're still listening to me yabber on, please subscribe and help the channel out, and don't forget to recommend the video to anyone that needs help or advice. Take care of yourselves.